Oh, got to go that way. Rightio. Campbell's Comments is back again for another week. And right off the top of the show, I've got a young man going to join me. Firstly, Ryan Sanderson. Hello. Didn't hear you. Can't hear your audio again.
You there?
That's better. Much better now. You must have hit the mute button because we were having a little bit of fun just prior to the starting of this show, and you might have got a bit nervous with what you were or weren't going to say. Firstly, mate, welcome to Campbell's Comments on what's a ripping week for a young man.
Oh yeah, it's very exciting. Yeah,
it is exciting, mate. I was fortunate enough to interview you. Where was that? At Ballarat, the start of the Inter-Dominion Carnival, and just the thrill of having a drive, I suppose, on Paul and Kari Males' Mon Mia to start off the Inter-Dominion campaign for you. Sorry, mate. I'm trying to. Anyone's wondering what I'm doing. Ryan hasn't been able to see me. I didn't realise, mate. Now I realise what's going on. Paul and Kari Mon Mia, and just the thrill of being able to partake in an Inter-Dominion as such, and what it meant to you. And that was just a buzz in itself, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I was just strapped to be a part of the whole race. Yeah, I just would have never thought of being in the final. I was just stoked to go around and see what it's all about. And now that I'm in the final, it's just it's a dream come true.
Just so we clarify for people, you're not in the final on Mon Mia, but you've been fortunate enough to pick up a drive. And, there's a reason for it, and we'll get to that part in a second to how you sort of picked up the drive. But it's basically, mate, you've picked up a catch drive in an Inter-Dominion. That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to pinch yourself sometimes.
You've gone again, Rhino. Every second time you go, mate.
Yeah.
Gone
you
muffled.
hear me? You there?
Nah, muffled again.
That's
better.
I think it's...
That's better.
Yeah.
No, that's better.
Yeah, I haven't checked.
Yeah, I know, every now and then it just drops out. So, anyway, it might be our receptions. But just to pick up a drive in an Inter-Dominion for a young man, that's just a huge buzz, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah. Just, really pinching myself, really. There's a lot of champion drivers out there, and to be among a few of them, it's quite special.
You are going out with Eva Justice, John Justice's daughter. Did John ring you or did Eva ring you? How did it come about to get told you got the drive?
Oh, well, at Geelong, we'll probably we were working out the points as the heats were going through, and I think he had to come eighth to have a chance at getting in the final, and he came eighth, and then we watched the last heat of the trotters, and I think we pretty much knew that he had a good chance of going in. So John brought it up then, and it was just it was a great day to know that I was being a part of this great race.
What did you do afterwards? Obviously, when John said it, I would imagine you'd been nice and polite, but did you go away and do a little fist pump or anything afterwards?
I just shook his hand and said thank you, and I had a few other drives, so I went back to business. But I was inside cheering.
It must have meant a real lot to you. I reckon it's enormous. I think just getting drives in the heats. I think we undersell how special this race series is, and so many people don't get to partake in it. It's interesting that Chris Elford's never won the Inter-Dominion Trot. They are hard races to win. Everything that Chris has won over the journey, and he hasn't won an Inter-Dominion Trotters final. I think sometimes we take for granted a lot of these things as what's going on. But I reckon hats off to you, mate. I think it's a huge effort.
Thanks, Paul. But it's I think that's why the race is so special. It's so hard to win. I think everyone wants to be a part of it, and to be a part of it this early, it's pretty exciting. So it's just gotta not get too excited and get the job done.
I actually was there with Eva. Joshy Duggan's on there at the minute, and I'm going to catch up with Josh in a minute. He's got a drive in the final as well. There's so many great stories in this. Alex Ashwood and Taylor French, of course, they're also in the series. I think that's what I love about the Trotters. So many people get the opportunity to have a chance, if you like, in these races. but I was late to the barrier draw, and I was standing actually with John and the rest of the crew. Although they all deserted him, John ended up out the back with just myself and Mark Hughes, and he was working out the barrier draws after a while, and he's like, "Geez, there's some nice barrier draws left." And I will say, he's pretty cool under pressure, John Justice, because he was like, "Actually, we're a chance of a nice enough draw or two here." And when they came up, like, were you watching it? You were in Mildura. Were you actually watching the barrier draw?
No, I didn't get a chance to really. I was a bit busy at Mildura, but yeah, I think John's he's been there, done that, so he knows what it's all about.
Yeah, he does indeed. He let everyone else do it. Graham Riley is the owner of Hatchback?
Yes.
Yeah, I met him, and he was pretty stoked. He come back, he was beaming, he had a big smile, and so he should. And I think it's great. While we're on Mildura, mate, the other night you brought up your 100th win for the season. There's some conjecture. It don't matter if it's New South Wales, Tasmania, anywhere, mate. 100 in Australia is 100 in Australia, and congratulations as well for that. That's a mighty effort.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. It's probably a goal I had going into the season, really, just to see if I can, push myself, and been lucky enough to, get the opportunities to get to the 100 wins, and I've just been, very lucky along the way, and it's a good goal to tick off, and hopefully we can keep going forward.
So you did set out this year to try and have 100. How many did you have last season, mate?
I believe around 60, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a fair goal to push yourself to.
Yeah, I just thought I always really wanted to. It was something I've always wanted to do, really. Just to, get some wins on the table. But it's just a little goal I set so I can, be committed and get up every morning and just strive to be the best I can.
Greg Keane is online, mate. He said, congratulations, Ryan, with a great experience. So I think good luck and well done. Good evening to you too, Greg. He did actually say good evening as well. But I think it's I think there's going to be a lot of people rooting for you. I think well done. Well, you are a great story. Your whole family's a good story. Yourself and Ab's mum and dad basically uprooted, I suppose, and left their homes, although they'd already left Queensland, but then they'd gone to New South Wales. But to give you and Ab a real chance of having a crack at a drive, getting good drives, what was the reaction from mum and dad? I reckon there would have been a tear or two in Dad's eyes, but you're probably not allowed to say that. But what was their reactions, mate?
Yeah, well, they never really pushed us to do anything. They, me and Abby really was getting pretty keen in the driving side and working with the horses. So once we were pretty set in stone on that, Mum and Dad just come up with a plan to give us the best shot, and just couldn't thank them enough, really. We were probably a bit hesitant coming to Victoria first because New South Wales is we probably call home, but Victoria we've really settled in, and it's just been a great time since we stayed up.
Is it fun? Do you enjoy it? The driving, the driving, and the constant, being everywhere all the time, mate.
Yeah, they're big weeks. Lucky enough, Dad looks after me a bit. He might let me sleep in the mornings for a little bit after a late night. But
Serious?
After that, sometimes I've got to give him credit.
he's getting soft at his old age, mate, by the sounds of it. So
yeah,
he
yeah.
Oh, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to do something and it won't work, but that part's okay. Rightio. So ticked off 100 wins. Now got to drive an Inter-Dominion final. Obviously, I suppose the next little goal would be to win an Inter-Dominion final, and it'd be probably nice if it is on Saturday night. What is the future for you, mate? Continue just driving in Victoria, or?
Yeah, for sure. We call Victoria home now. I think. I think I'd love to spend, my time here with the horses, and it's just the best state to be, really. I'd just keep my head down, and hopefully the opportunities will come, and I can be in some nice races.
Yep, and just continue going that way. You're good mates with Cam Hart. And Cam and his sister, they basically looked after Ab when you had that nasty fall in Charlton just a year or two ago. Do you look at someone like Cam and what he's able to achieve in a relatively short time, I reckon, too?
Yeah, for sure. What he's done so far in his career is something special. I think everyone would strive to be like him, and he's getting great opportunities, and he's really make the most of it, and he's definitely a talent to look up to and hopefully be.
He's a good guy, and he presents so well. He's very meticulous with his hair. I've noticed that the other night, but he presents so well. He's what our industry needs, though, isn't it? The way he presents and showcases his ability.
Yeah, for sure. Really professional. Goes about everything. He's just an all-round professional, and a great guy. He's just always been. I've just always looked up to him, and he's a really good role model for the rest of the upcoming junior drivers to be like.
Has he said anything to you about getting a drive in the Inter yet, or have you seen him yet?
Yeah, well, when we were at Ballarat in the heats, he was just stoked to had a drive on Monomia, and so was I. So when this came up, I think everyone that congratulated me of getting in the heats of the Inter-Dominion, was even more excited now. So it's been a really great couple of weeks. The opportunities that I've had. It's just a dream come true to be a part of it all.
Yeah, no, it is indeed. And I know your dad. I know quite a few Queenslanders through the camp draft world that I do stuff with. They know Dad through Queensland, through playing rugby, and a lot of the guys played against him or watched him play, or may have played with him, and that they've got a big soft spot for him. So I'm sure you'll have a lot of unique people getting behind you, as well as the die-hard harness racing people, mate. So I think it's terrific, and I will say well done to John Justice, because it's a little bit like the Cravens when they sent the two kids, Lockie Cook and Cody Rockenberger, all the way to Shepparton, and a lot of people said, it was only because Glenn and Jason didn't want to drive them, and that may have been the case, but to give people an opportunity, full stop, I don't think they realise. I think you forget, don't you? Like just being part of the heats, it's what you strive to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't think anyone would really turn down any drive to be a part of the race. There's a lot of champion drivers out there, so John to pick me as such is something special, and I'm just very, very lucky.
I said to your girlfriend Eva, how excited? I sort of know the answer, but how excited is she about the Inter-Dominion final?
Oh yeah, she's quite nervous. I think we drew some good barriers, so it's looking like we got a really good shot in it. With us Metro drawing one, and hopefully we can get a good run and be thereabouts. But just because we're looking like we can be pretty competitive in the race, I think it's quite exciting, but a bit nervous. She's a bit nervous.
As she said, who's she strapping? Which one should we strapping?
Well, I don't really know. I think I don't know. She could be on the fast. I don't know.
You looked over your shoulder. She said she was going off to race to watch it somewhere else. You looked like she was still sitting there in the car next to you, mate.
No, she's not here.
We were having a little bit of fun. Ryan was a bit nervous having her sitting in the car next to him in case he got words wrong all night. Mate, I reckon well done. Congratulations. You're in the race. That's the start. I think it's just, hats off to you. Enjoy the ride, mate, though. I think it's great. Sit back and enjoy it, and congratulations. You've come a long way since that nasty fall at Charlton. The whole Charlton crew, I'm sure, are well and truly behind you. I know they are because they love anyone that does anything for Charlton. So I think it's very, very exciting for the community. I think well done to yourself, your family, Charlton, everyone, mate. And I think sit back and enjoy it. And also to John and all his owners, both sides of the fence there. I think well done to them guys as well, because it's it's a big thrill, mate. So I look forward to probably catching up. I may not catch up with you on Inter Dominion night, but I might catch up with you afterwards and just chat on the whole season, your highs, your lows, and how the Inter Dominion experience was, mate. But well done and congratulations.
Yeah, thanks for that, Paul. Yeah, there's probably a lot of people to thank. The list would go on for everyone that's done everything for me for my career, and it's not just me. There's a lot of people that go in behind it to really get me success on the racetrack, and just couldn't thank people enough. They've just been great. Thanks, Paul.
Nah, well done, mate, and good luck. Can you get a winner at Ballarat tonight? I saw you had one drive at about 7:30.
Yeah, just got Knights Templar for Devon Gary Quinlan. That's my only drive for the night. He's going good. He's in a tricky race, but he's definitely a little chance.
Lovely little horse with high speed, so he's always a chance in any race. Those high speed horses, aren't they?
Just like Matt Cheddar.
I don't think Mick Cheddar's quite as fast as him, mate. But anyway, hopefully he goes as good as what he did last night.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, mate. Thank you. Thanks for joining me on Loose Lines. Congratulations. And if Dad's watching this, he's allowed to tear up a little bit. I know he gets a bit emotional, so that's all good. We'll let him do that, mate.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, mate. I'm going to just cut the audio. You can hang up whenever you want. Thanks, Rhino. That's Ryan Sanderson there joining me on Loose Lines, and I think that's terrific. I actually could still see Eva was sitting out on the bonnet out there before watching him, so he was getting a hard time. I don't know if he could still hear me or not, but he wasn't coming through anyway. But yeah, she was giving him a hard time. I think well done. I think it's a great story. There's so many good stories about this Inter Dominion, and you even just look at the trotting race there in question, and there's so many terrific stories involved in that going forward. So we've got some comments going on there. Greg Keane, thank you very much for the win with Mick Cheddar. Real highlight for us. We were rapt. We love the little horse. He's no world beater, but he's just a beautiful little horse that we had a lot of fun on with. Timmy White, thank you also, mate. Good evening. Mick Cheddar, what a horse. And he is. We all say the same thing. We know he's no world beater. Hopefully he can compete in Melbourne on a regular basis for a couple of years. That'd be lovely for us. But he's just a lot of fun. And when you breed them, raise them, breed them, break them. I'm trying to break in his younger sister at the minute. And I say trying. You forget, I suppose, some of the reasons why we do this sport and why we have so much fun with it. And he's an absolute little ripper. And I must say well done to my wife, because she's done all the work. As Jeffrey Dixon there, good to have you back on too, Jeff. Great coverage from New Zealand last Sunday. Keep up the great work, Paul and the team. And that's exactly right, because it is a team effort, because my wife and daughter do a lot of behind the scenes, if you like, and they keep everything ticking along for me, which is what I need and need going forward. So it is a big team effort, and I will get on to New Zealand and that in a second. What I'm trying to do, I'm actually trying to make sure I didn't miss out, because if you're watching on YouTube, again, you can watch on YouTube live any time. I'm just trying to I can't get where I can get my comments up. So it's just a little bit frustrating. But anyway, hopefully I can. Don't forget to subscribe to Campbell's Comments, and you'll be able to keep up to date with all the updates. Nope, that didn't do the trick. I don't know where. I can't see any of my comments coming through. They've changed the way they display it, unfortunately, on my tablet. So just try a couple of things. Not sure. Don't know. It's very annoying, this, actually. Maybe that'll do it. Nope. That didn't do it either. So anyway. So if you are putting in comments in there on the YouTube feed, I might check it occasionally through on my phone and go from there. Manuel Portelli, Dot Smith, hello to you. Dot Kevin Sharman, hello to you. Liam Older. Now, Liam has been driving some horses. He's down to drive. I think he's driving a couple of horses for Julie Douglas and the likes going from there. Juanita Breen, thank you, Neats, for last night. She's tuned in. Of course, she has Raw for Roscoe. The similarities with him and our little horse, I don't think either of us care if one's better than the other or not. They're both by better than Cheddar. We've both had them at the same time, both done all the work with them, and the ride and the fun that we have with them both is a lot of fun, including the part that I don't think Mick Cheddar had hit the line on the Sky Channel coverage, not the Trots Vision coverage, but the Sky Channel coverage, and Neats had already sent me a message saying well done. So that part I really, really enjoy, I must say. Beck Morris is watching like he can. Inter Dominion is on. Let's see what people say, about that, and highs, lows, what you have liked, what you don't like, what you're looking forward to. I think the fact of someone like Ryan Sanderson getting a drive in it. But there is, of course, in that race, actually, we'll do it. Where is that little thing? I made sure it was working, so don't panic too much. There it is there. Except I didn't do that part too well, but that's all right. We'll get to it. There is some really, really cool stories in the Inter-Dominion with lots of good stories, lots of people. So anyway, Hugo for Chris Finozio, one of his favourites. He was his first Group 1 winner, I think. Anyway, Hugo, which was terrific. Mufasa Metro with my New Zealand connection. A lot of people saying there about my New Zealand visits. But Cam Kirkwood and the Kirkwood family, of course, bred him, and they sold him to John Justice a bit over a year ago. He competed in the home field, I think was one of the first races he competed in here at Bendigo. Did terrifically. Sleepy, this is a great story. This horse had 4 runs back from a spell. 3 of those have been in a week and has qualified for the final. Joshy Duggan and Alison Alford, and a terrific effort, and I think well done to them both. And again, Chris Alford and Alison Alford trained Sleepy. Could put anyone else on? No. Stick loyal, look after their man, and that is terrific that they do that. I think it's great that they get behind the likes of Joshy and look after him. Hatchback, Ryan Sanderson. James Herbertson experiencing his first drive in an Inter-Dominion series. Ross Graham, he's had a couple of runners, I think, over the journey, but nephew of Sunoco won a heat, beating Bolt for Brilliance at Shepparton, and it was a great story. Andy and Kate Gaff with Majestuoso, and Always Ready, I suppose, Anton Galino and Nathan Jack, best trotting trainers we've got in the state consistently. Well, and the next guy, actually, Brent Lilly. They've all got their charges into the final. I reckon Always Ready's a little sleeper. I think he's going to be a huge chance. He'll love the long trip. I are sponsored by Harassed Trotters, but seriously, go back and watch that third underneath Bolt for Brilliance. And all I heard about was how fast Bolt for Brilliance finished off. I don't think anyone saw little Always Ready. I know he wasn't 100% leading into the series. He's come out of it. I reckon he is flying. Queen Alida, Butch and Tony, they're having a ball with this horse. It's a great story. I did an interview with Tony Barron when I was in New Zealand. I encourage everyone to go and watch it, about how they come to get the mother of this horse, Queen Kenny, and then the job that they've done and the fun that they've had along the road. And I met Butch the other night for the first time at the barrier draws. Such a passionate man, so excited, just excited about being in an event. So I think that's terrific. O Fortuna, Craig Demlin, Jodie Quinlan. Lucky I interviewed Jodes at the start of it, because she wouldn't give me one now, I reckon, because she'd say I was bad luck, but instead I was good luck for her. So they qualified. Haven't had a lot of luck since. Get a good draw here, though. They won't be too far off from Settle and too far off from early on, which will be good for them. Majestic Harry, Stephanie and Brittany Graham. A lot's been said about that. Parisian Artiste, Alex Ashwood and Taylor French. I've done a couple of things with those guys today, but again, another young stable having a crack, as along with Jess Tubbs and Greg Sugars with Just Believe, one of the favourites for the series, and they've managed to get her into the final. There's a couple others that have fell by the wayside, and they've been able to get Just Believe into the final, which has been terrific. And then Swiss Miss for Shane Hoban. Anthony Butt takes the drive there, replacing Brad Chisholm, actually. But yeah, Swiss Miss getting the drive. Swiss Miss getting into the final, which is terrific as well for those guys. So many good stories there in that Inter-Dominion Trotters final, and I probably have missed some. I've probably missed some of the stories that there are to be involved in it. But please don't feel bad to get away. Always Ready is the best value here in New Zealand. He's $61 and $9, $5 for the top 4. He is terrific value. I don't generally condone punting Greg in any way, but I don't not condone it at all. But he is, I reckon he's always flying well and truly under the radar. He's just been going good, and I know he had an unorthodox, if you like, lead into it. But yeah, he's doing a terrific job. While I'm very quickly on him, I always have to look after my sponsors, and Harastra Trotters are great sponsors of mine. I've lost my hats, and it's never good when you lose your hats. It's one of those things you just don't like to do. But yeah, I have actually lost my hats. But of course, don't forget Honest Street. I like that hat too. I'm going to try and get one tomorrow if I can. I'll have to be very nice. Of course, standing at Cobbity Farms for $3,500, as well as all the others. Now, the reason I put these up is because the Kiwis there are on top. The Love Yous and the horses that are the Nazareth won the Derby. No, the other, I can't remember what the other little fella was by, Confessional. But so many nice horses in New Zealand. By Love You, Out of Love You mares. The dominance that he's starting to have on that product over there is just is amazing. And I encourage people to breed to these horses to update your breeding. Sorry about that, Greg. I have brought you up by mistake. Didn't mean that. That's a problem with having live mouse or mice. So I'm not sure if anyone else is watching me on my YouTube. I'm actually going to refresh it, and hopefully that then brings up. I reckon I know what I've done wrong. A different way of being able to look at it. Yep, now we're away. So if anyone has any comments at all, not that I do, I've got 7 people watching on my YouTube feed, but please fire your comments in. I can get them. Can't put them up on the screen. But I can definitely read those out. So please get involved, and I'm grateful that there are so many people on there and getting involved. Rightio. Harastra Trotters, as I said, great sponsors of Campbell's Comments, and also doing some terrific things. 3 horses in that Inter-Dominion final, of course, with Always Ready. They bred all 3, Prison Artiste and Just Believe. Now, they lease out Just Believe. I think they lease out Just Believe, and they own Always Ready as well. So they put a little tweet up the other day, which I think that's terrific. So, yeah, which is really, really cool. So, well done to those guys for what they do, and thank you very much for their continued support of Campbell's Comments. They will get a mention again in a minute. We'll go through some of the races at the end of the show, I suppose. Well, not the end of the show, but towards the end at Bendigo coming up, because there's a massive meeting at Bendigo coming up. Paul Wiedenbach is on there. Hello to you, Paul. So plenty other stuff to get through. All right. I'm going to go with a random one, actually, for a start, and because I like random. By the way, Timmy, thank you very much for the flashing lights and saying they looked well. I'm actually going to do something because I know where Timmy's hat is. I've just got to move out of the way for it. And there it is there, the old white racing stables, front and centre, Timmy, with the lights going around. Just got to try and change things up. And one of the things I want to do when I go to New Zealand next time is be able to go live and be able to situate in a spot, and hopefully we've got a few things in the pipe works. We'll be able to do that. So we'll be able to, I suppose, go out and about and have these shows live, and get people to interact with some of the Kiwis, because there's so many great Kiwis out there. But where did I put it? Maybe I didn't even put it in here. I did. I was on the page that I was on, I reckon. Yeah, here it is here. I did a stable chat actually with the Bunfields very, very recently, but Brett Bunfield got the chockies with a galloper the other day called Blixton, having his first start, not having his first start, but for him as a trainer of thoroughbreds. So I reckon well done to Brett. Always dangerous when we see participants leave into another sport. I don't think he's leaving to another sport, but he's definitely dipping his toe in the ocean. So I think well done to him. And that is terrific for him, and something just a bit random, like I do like. Please don't feel scared to get involved. I say it's a number 1 talkback show. We haven't had a lot of talkback. I had a lot of people praising me. I'm happy not to be praised too much. Rightio, so we will go. Rightio, so wrong way. This it's very confusing, that pad, but I do actually like it. It makes my life a lot easier. And unfortunately, I've done it again, I think. Either that or I don't have it on there at all, which, oh no, there it is there. NZB Standardbreds, Cambrai, James Jennings are going to be over. They're going to be at Bendigo on Friday night, and then they're going to be at the Inter-Dominion as well on Saturday night. They will have catalogues. So their catalogue is online now. but they have been received in their hands. So the Kiwis will be getting those catalogues in the mail shortly. They'll be getting sent out to everyone that's on the order form and going forward. But for the Australians, I will be getting a box, but I don't think I'll be getting one this time. I think the boys will be keeping what they're bringing across. But anyone that wants a catalogue before they go and also catch up with the guys, they'll be both at Bendigo and also at Melton for the Inter-Dominion. So make sure you get out there and catch up with both James Jennings and Cam Bray. Get all your NZB Standardbred stuff. I wonder if he's bringing hats. I better give him the warning. He best bring some more hats. Look at that. Forgot I got to change my hat, and then now people get to see me bald head for too long, which I haven't shaved for a day because I haven't been out and about doing things. But so don't forget to see the guys from NZB when they come across here, which will be terrific. I had the Barrostock hat on there before, but don't forget to follow the Foals competition. Follow favouritefoals.com.au to win a $3,000 travel voucher here in Australia. Make sure you go. Make sure you put the S on the end of Foals because there are two different competitions. But yeah, the Follow Foals competition is your main one to get involved with there. What else have we got here? Nutrient catalogue is online. Oh man, I haven't got the green hat. No. Have to go with this one. Oh, I do have it, but I might as well go this way, I reckon. And and that'll work. It's very funny doing these things in front of a TV. You do things back to front. But the Nutrient catalogue is online now. On the 20th of December at Wagga Harness Racing Club, and Wagga have got a massive meeting coming up this weekend. They've got 4 or 5 Group 1 races, which I will try and have a look at while we're doing this. But on the 20th, they're going to have a catalogue launch at Wagga, and that they've got 4 Group 3 races for the 2-year-old fillies. So it is the New South Wales Breeders' Challenge, Western Region. So 4 Group 3 with horses. I'll just have a quick look to see if there's any Victorians and that heading up there. I doubt there. Oh, there probably could be. That's not it there. $30,000 heats. Wow, great stake money. David Moran's going up there with Rock and Roll Jig. He is heading up there, so that's good. He doesn't mind going up there at all. Nathan Turnbull, he's flying. He's got a runner in that one there. Quickly having a look through. I can't see any Victorians in that one. So at the minute, I can only see one Victorian heading up there this week to Wagga. Just quickly seeing else if there's any other Victorians. I like having a Victorian watch as they go through and make their way up there. Doesn't appear to be any others, but they're going terrific, and well done to Wagga for having a crack. But on the 20th of December, there will be a catalogue launch for Nutrient, and we will have the catalogues all going well on the day. So we encourage people to get in touch with the guys at Nutrient and go to nutrienequine.com.au, go to the Standardbred section and follow all the links to that, and you'll be able to get involved and you'll be able to keep up to date with that when the catalogues are. Catalogues are online now. Did an interview with Danny and Mel Thackeray yesterday. Mark Barton, Mark's in town. We're going to be heading across to Ballarat for a couple of on-farm inspections. Just have a look at a few of the horses that are getting ready and going on. So make sure you catch up with everything that's going on there on the out and about, and we'll keep that up to date as well. But a lot is going to start ramping up between now, Christmas, and then post-Christmas. It'll be very, very busy. So we'll try and get the word out there as best we can. Sorry, hit that one to be a little bit quicker too. Also on the 20th, you'll be able to meet Gemma Smallman, who is the new, I suppose, admin, if you like, of Nutrient. So get to know Gemma, and she'll be the person to get in touch. MYO is still going to be doing a lot of stuff. Haven't seen her log on tonight at all, but she could be doing anything knowing Ems. But she is tied up fairly heavily as well with the performance side of things, whereas Gemma will be solely on the standard breeds, and going from there. But of course I will have Em, and when I catch up, it's always fun to have a bit of a chat with Em, either over the phone, as she does sometimes, and go from there. But nutrienequine.com/standardbred. It's just a little bit quiet at the minute, but that's okay. That's what happens with these industries and the way they are. Wow, Facebook's a lot further behind than what YouTube is. If you're watching on YouTube, you're miles ahead of those, but that's okay. It's all good. So yeah, please don't feel free to get involved. If you have any announcements at all, got the Nutrient on Kath McIntosh, of course. Don't forget her service fees, her stallion service fees. $100,000 to Pastor Stephen, Raging Bull, Yankee Rockstar, Poster Boy, and Lather Up, who stands in conjunction with Woodlands. Don't forget to get involved with that incentive that she has. So basically, you breed any of those horses, $100,000 bonus, and that's how it works. So yeah, and my good friends at Woodlands who looked after me while I was in New Zealand. As always, I have got a important little update that will go up tomorrow with Stacey White. She'll get involved with me, and we will get the word out there for a lot of other things that are going on over in New Zealand, and also with their breeding and what they've got coming up as well going forward. Wow, that's pretty cool. That just got a really cool message which I won't say too much about, but we've got a great industry. Let's just say that much. So, yep, one very, very random one that was actually, yeah, really cool. So, yep, sorry about that. Got myself very confused now because that threw me big time. So, yeah, so that's Nutrien, Gemma. The guys at Woodlands, don't forget to go to Woodlands Stud. They're, of course, celebrating 30 years. Now, with the NZB guys, and the everything that's going on now over in New Zealand, make sure you get in touch with woodlandstud.co.nz for the catalogues, updates, regular updates, video updates. There'll be plenty of online stuff coming out very, very shortly with the sales as well, because they have got heaps going on, and it is be updated all the time. Sorry, just making sure. No, had no chats on the YouTube page, so just doing too many things, but that's okay. And we'll go from there. But yeah, they've got their yearlings will be coming out on the catalogues and the sales. I think the videos are going to be done early in the new year, and they'll go up there. But of course, remember last year they did scopes, they did lots of things. So yep, Campbell's Comments will be full on yearling sales, yearling videos, and the likes, pretty much from now on. Yep, we'll do a couple of interviews tomorrow, and we will continue to grow it and build it from there, and yeah, continue to, I suppose, improve what we do with the industry and highlight the industry and look after the breeders, look after the buyers, and have a lot of fun with the industry. That's what we want to do, and that's what we want to be a part of, and I suppose grow, and that's what Woodlands and Harass the Trotters, NZB, Harness Racing New Zealand, because I've got to say a big thank you to those guys as well. Barrostock, there's one other one, might be Nutrien. I might have forgotten Nutrien, I think, actually. So Nutrien, NZB, Woodlands, Harass the Trotters, Barrostock, and then Harness Racing New Zealand are all getting behind me, which I really do love. Get some lovely comments about New Zealand and what it was and the trips, and I appreciate all the kind words that people say, and I just enjoy promoting our industry and doing something different. This is not well breaking this show tonight. It's not intended to be. Don't try to be. Just try to have a little bit of fun, I suppose, and getting the message out there and going from there. What was I going to say? NZ, we'll leave the Woodlands hat on because I don't have a Harness Racing New Zealand hat. Grand Prix day the other day, massive day, brilliant day. Lot gets spoken about it. Was this, wasn't that? You know, going forward. It was just a fun day. It was a lot of fun. It will be built 8 Group 1s. Of course, the, what's the name, guys? All Stars. Put pay to a lot of people, if you like. But it was just a fun meeting to be a part of. Some huge performances. There was some great roller coaster rides, highs and lows, if you like. Little confessional, I thought was just amazing for Paul Nan. It was great to catch up with Paul, albeit very, very quickly. plenty of the people over there, they're such great people. Get involved in a lot of these carnivals. Let's make Australia and New Zealand just a force to be reckoned with harness racing. Each state trying to pull its own way. If we put together and pulled everything together, I reckon our sport would be in a much better place. But anyway, probably be an unpopular opinion with a lot of people, but it is something that I do believe, and I think we need New Zealand and New Zealand need us, and we need to continue to grow it and look after each other. So really, really good. But horse ambulance over there, it's great to see. I did a story with Stonewall Studs, Jill Stockman, and they got behind the horse ambulance. It's a terrific thing. I encourage people to go and have a look at it. I do know a sneaky little story that it is coming to Australia. Here, it's going to be one here in Bendigo, so hasn't been announced 100% yet, but be a massive for the industry that the people will be able to get an ambulance to help them move and facilitate the movement of animals in a humane way to, the longevity of these horses. It actually lowers down onto the ground. They can actually get skids and slide it out in. The horse has got freestanding everywhere. It is, it's terrific, and it's great to watch, and it's great to be a part of it. So and see it. So well done to everyone involved in that as well. The other one, and I do have a hat. It's right there, the Creek. Huge announcements the other day from Queensland Harness Racing with their new, I suppose, sponsorship agreement for a start with Ladbrokes, which was just enormous. So they're going to sponsor them for the next 4 years, continue to sponsor the venue, which is huge. They have got a massive stakes increase, which I didn't get hold. Nigel Armstrong from New Zealand is watching Harness Racing Unhinged. Good to see you, Nige. Saw you just recently at Addington. He does a great job, Nige. He does interviews. He's also a steward, and stewards over there are a little bit different to us over here. The stewards over there are, well, they're not even like the gatemen. They just, I suppose, conduct, if you like, and make sure everyone's in the right place. Right people aren't in the right people are in the right spots. People who shouldn't be in the certain spots aren't there. But then they also interact with people and participants and make everyone feel comfortable. So they do a great job. Nigel, and there was two other guys who I haven't actually met, but I think they do a great job, and they add to it. They're decked out in their Fly IRT light blue, very, very similar to that light blue. You can't miss them. They stand out. They do a terrific job. So apart from that, he's also a lot of fun, Nigel. I've had the odd conversation with him. Back to the Queenslanders, massive stakes increase. I reckon I can do this as we go along. It should fit. If it doesn't fit, I'll just have to change it. But massive stakes increases right across the board for the guys in Queensland. Here it is. Let's see how it fits. Well, fits pretty good, doesn't it? Actually, when you look at it like that. So this is across the board with Queensland racing full stop. So the thoroughbreds are 172. This is for the season of 2023-24. 172 million. Greyhounds 40.8 million, and harness racing is 31.8 million, up 100% from 2000 and, well, I don't know if that's 2017. I'm not sure. Well, that's what it was back then. So that's where prize money is at up to now. Minimum prize money in there is $40,000. The average prize money per race in the 2023-24 season is going to be 11.5 thousand. 11.4 was 11.5 thousand per race. And they've got 17 races, $100,000 and above. Plus, they're building in new facilities. They've got sponsorship behind them as well. Going forward for that, they've got facilities. Marburg is on the radar. They're going to have a Trotters Derby. They're going to have a Trotters Oaks. They're $30,000 each of those. They never had one before, so they're going to have those as well. They are doing so many things that we are trying to do to improve the product. They're going to build stabling for 150 people to be able to stable, 150 horses to be able to stable at this new state-of-the-art track and facilities. I think it is just enormous what they're doing. I think well done to those guys. Very much go-getters. Brad Steele normally watches. I do know he's sunning himself down here in Victoria. He's enjoying the weather. No, he's not really. But he's there being down here for the weather, watching the Inter-Dominion. They've got the Inter-Dominion next year. They're learning a lot. It's going to be ramped up. I'm putting my hand up. I reckon Nigel will be putting his hand up as well. We'll all put our hand up to get up there for it, but they're going to do things very differently. They're going to do it their way. They are a go-getting state, and they've got lots going on. And I do know a couple more exciting announcements for their winter carnival still to come. Major prize money announcements. Nigel, I'm sure you'll be tapping a few of your friends in New Zealand on the shoulder and saying, hey, this is on, and get across there to Queensland, because it is going to be a lot of fun. Back there, I'll get to you, Timmy, in 1 sec. 100% right. This is Nigel, of course. We need to work together, NZ and Aussie, and we do. We've got to work together on our race nights, get behind the big nights, showcase them. One of the things I found a little bit frustrating, well, not frustrating, but it was just hard. I went to Akaroa on the Saturday, and that's my fault. But you get home, and I think the last race of the Inter-Dominion heats was nearly at 12 o'clock. We had group racing the next day. Just couldn't watch it. So I actually did try, but yeah, the eyelids fell asleep. So that's one of those things. The first night of heats were terrific. The last night of heats were very, very late for participants to be able to get involved with. So I think they're the sorts of things that they need to, if you like, just look at with programming and that there are people on all sides. The West Australians would be sitting there saying, yeah, but it works so well for us. I understand it's not quite that simple, but there is lots going on. So 9:20 for the Inter-Dominion final on Saturday night, and that will be 11:20, which is possibly not too bad for the Kiwis, because it will be 5:20 for the West Australians. So, yeah, there's plenty going. There's plenty to take in, I've got no doubt about that. But if we could make it so that it looks after everyone, I think 9:20 in Victoria is probably not a bad time. Going forward, Errol Gaff's there, Troy Harley's there, Troy and I will be at Bendigo. Not sure we're going to be going live. I think we might be just doing some pre-records just purely because I've got a lot going on. And I will get to Bendigo in a second. I'll get to Bendigo now, actually, because that's a bit of a wrap for the guys at Queensland. And I think well done to them. Go to Queensland Racing or QBred and make sure you check that out. And, it's great incentive for the greyhounds as well. I might have a talk to Troy about what they're doing and the state's increases and, where it's all at as well with the greyhounds, because it's very, very exciting. Timmy White, all Timmy White's yearlings are here now, and we'll keep us updated, keep you updated. So that means they're in work. We'll be doing a couple of things with Timmy over the journey and promoting it and getting the message out there. Won't be in this structured manner that is on loose lines, because it is not structured. It just goes everywhere, but it is a lot of fun. Right, Bendigo, Friday night. Get the kids, if you're watching in Bendigo, make sure you get out there for the dual code meeting. There is free entry, Kelly Sports, face painting, visits from Santa, Christmas movies, laser tag, free kids barbecue, and prizes to be won. Run with the Victorian Government, Bendigo Greyhound Racing Association, and the BHRC, or the Bendigo Harness Racing Club as well. Going to be a lot of fun. I was going to go live, probably going to be there doing a heap of interviews. Just got a few things going on, but it is going to be a great night of racing, and I'm actually going to showcase that night. So if you just bear with me for 1 minute, it just takes a little bit to get there this way, because it is a cracking meeting with some great trotters involved. Troy, I'm not sure if Troy's off playing the football or not, but I might be able to get him and just see if there's any highlights with the that's what I'm going to do with the greyhounds. But 2 heats of the junior drivers. Actually, must say that from the Kiwi point of view too. We've got Timmy White and Nigel and a few of the others. They're flying. Brittany Graham is watching. Hello to you, Britt. She's tuned in. She should be doing her show in the gig. Anyway, she should be doing that show. I thought maybe it starts a bit later. I don't know. Anyway, hello, Britt. If you're not doing the show, or you are doing the show, just let me know. I thought it was live. Maybe it's pre-recorded by the looks, but that's okay. Britt does a few trips over to New Zealand as well. So anyway, Junior Drivers Series going on. It's an All Trotters Day on Bendigo on Friday night, and you can see there the list of drivers going through. Young Sam Thornley's hit the ground running, 2 heats, 2 wins. There might actually be a heat run and 1 now. We might be able to quickly get to the results and just see, because Ballarat is on. There was a couple of races at Ballarat that were going to be on early on. Greg Sugars and Craig Hoban won the first. We follow the Eclipse and the second race would have been run and won, but it is not either. It is just another race. No, the junior drivers aren't on for a little bit, but good to see a couple of them getting drives. Sam Thornley, Crystal Hackett, both picking up some drives. They're both for Brett Lilly. Lils is looking after the Kiwis, which is good. The first of those heats is at 7:43 Australian time, and it's only a small field, but an intriguing little race. That is for sure. Coming on. Rightio, so Save Our Pennies Trot is the first race at Bendigo on what's a huge night of racing. Unfortunately, there's already one scratching in that race. Second of the junior drivers' races is not a full field. Again, another field of trotters. Whiz Bang Dan, High in the Sky, Honey Bunny, Down Under Barkers. So there's some nice horses in that race. It's a 54-64, so good luck to all the juniors who are getting a drive in that. Taylor French and John Justice combining, both going to be partaking in the Inter-Dominion as rivals in the next night. But that's actually pretty cool to see. Gavin Lang, Aldebaran Park, 2-year-old trotting mile for the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings is race number 3. 6 horses going round. Uptown Lad and Stevie G, both locals here for me in Bendigo. Both horses got more than their share of ability. Both horses have their quirks, to say the least. The Locomotive, of course, bought through the nutrient sales and bought his bred and raised by harassed trotters. So, and his record is just amazing. He's your $1.50 favourite, rightfully so. He's just a little ripper. The Graham Lang Aldebaran Park for the 2-year-old fillies. The fillies this year, so much intrigue, so much ability. It's just brilliant to see. Rocking with attitude for David Miles and Jaden Barker. Of course, unfortunately, running second in the Breeders' Crown after what was a massive run. And Trady Lady, who was very, very impressive at Bendigo first up. Another of the harassed trotters, bred horses, actually was so impressive first up for Emma Stewart and Mark Pitt. They're coming up against the best, I think, filly this year, although unfortunately for Connections hasn't won either of the big 2 races, but she is definitely one of the best fillies going around. So it will be very, very interesting to see how that all plans out, that race. The 3-year-old trotting fillies over the mile, all these races are. These are great races for people to try and get a nice, I suppose, time next to their name. Anton Galino has 2 in that race. Chris Finozio, he's got a big team of horses in, but he's only got 1 in that Sting of a Wasp. Chris Engove, of course, by Convent Avenger. Bit of Irish Luck for Mickey Blackmore. It's big odds there. Revelstoke, of course, is your favourite, I would imagine. Not that I ever believe a lot of these things. You see some funny things sometimes when you look at these prices on the early totes. It's Fergie time for Mark Lee, Stacey Towers. Stacey generally joins in, but she hasn't tonight, but that's okay. It's a funny time, 6 o'clock here in Australia, because daylight savings, it's full brightness, but it gets me out of feeding up if I do it. Wagon Apollo, 3-year-old trotting mile, race number 6. Daniel Hibbard won't be happy to see that. He actually put a tweet out saying how great it was, finally got a barrier draw. And his horse, Aphithis Phoenix, is unfortunately scratched for Daniel. So I haven't spoke to the boy for a little while, but that's very unfortunate there. Chris Finozio's had a run of 1s because he's drawn 1 in the Inter-Dominion, albeit Trotters Inter-Dominion, but it's an emergency. But I thought... No, that other horse has drawn 2. But he's got some good draws at the minute, Chris. He's having one of those runs, which is good to see, because you have runs of outs. Aldebaran Boyd for Eva Justice. Good luck to Eva with that drive there. Well done to John Justice too for purchasing that. Also know the Lavar group had it. They only wanted to move it on basically because they just had too many horses. So congratulations to those guys. They picked up a nice little horse, that's for sure. True Roman Trot, a horse that I had a great association with. It's got together a really good field of 75, 79 horses right through to Who's the Man. For Chris Finozio interview, Anton Gleno. Not sure how the big horse will like inside the second line, but he's a lovely, lovely big horse. And Mongiano Bay, David Jack, he will make it a very, very honest race. It is 2100, so it's not over the mile, so it gives interview a little bit of time to get off. But yeah, I just said there before, Chris Finozio is having a good run of barrier draws, and although that'll be on their class, so he can't count that one actually. I was going to say he's got a 12 there, but that's all right. The Lang family dynasty. 4-year-old and older trotting mares. This is over the 1650, or effectively the mares up to 55 rated race. So in the old would be a T1 class race, albeit there's a few in this that have won more than their fair shares. That is an interesting little race. The Chook returns first up. The Chook's got above average ability. Don't worry about that. Raining Lilies for Nelly, Melba, and the crew is in there. Just trying to see, Black and Gold's your favourite at $3.80. That is a very, very intriguing race, that one. And then the Aurora Australis, which is a $4,500 race over 2,100, is your last race. And Alexander Hurley has got the last runner in that field. For some reason, everything is just shut down here. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but Alex Hurley, of course, has her horse in that field as we go. Naked Ambition, a chance there. Now, I have missed Naked Ambition. That's the problem with these. This slight delay. Just trying to see what race Naked Ambition is in. Greg, you better let me know what race that horse is in, because I have missed it. Not good TV, but I don't know necessarily Campbell's comments is always good TV anyway. It's just random and it's fun. And I found it there with the Jamison boys and Anthony Butt in the True Roman. So good luck to those guys, because, yeah, and I just found that then. So well done. Phil Craig, hello to you, Phil. Always love your kind words, mate. And I know you miss me when I'm in New Zealand, or don't miss me, you just get envious that I'm in New Zealand. So, yeah, that is a good race there, Greg. It's there's a lot of intrigue in that. Copacabana. Jess Tubbs and Greg Sugars at $12. They don't normally have horses at that price there. And of course, She's a Pleasure. The horse is going okay. Keza Manning gets a drive here. She's picked up a drive in the Inter-Dominion as well. Quake Proof, it's going terrific. It is a really good race, the True Roman. And I was fortunate enough, Peter Keel and Mandy Keel, hello to you guys. Fortunate enough to have worked with Graham Johansson over the journey. And yeah, I had a great association with True Roman, or Jake, as he was more commonly known. We'll quickly go through the Inter-Dominion fields going forward. As I said, your comments, people's comments. Just having trouble finding it. Where's there? Now I'm right. Your thoughts on the Inter-Dominion, what people think or how people think they were going. Juanita Breen's back. Hello, back to you, Neats. How you might see some of the races going on. And for the meeting, other people may have one or two different runners going around. In that, there's a lot already been spoken about the Inter-Dominion and how people see that race being run and won. But there is the field there, and you know, I encourage people to have their say if they want to in it. Some of the people drew terrible. It's a very intriguing race with the barrier draws. Of course, Emma Stewart was such a strong hand. 3 of the first 5 horses are trained by Emma Stewart. 3 of those first 5 horses are all go-forward horses. So, yeah, I believe there's some chance that Karen Manning's driving Beyond Delight. This is up to date. I will double-check it, but it should be up to date. And obviously that hasn't been done yet. But I did hear a rumour that Kez was going to be driving, or one of the guys on the press actually said it going forward. Still no drivers changes yet. That's the only one still to happen. So I suppose watch this space. Hopefully there's no concerns with either of those horses, and that's why they are late getting it done. But I thought they had to be done by today. So yeah, watch this space with those two, Mac Dan and Beyond Delight. That's a bit of an interesting one. Maybe they don't have to be done till tomorrow morning. But anyway, I thought for clarity for punters, it would be something they would definitely be trying to get on top of. Rightio. Let's go back to the start. We'll go quickly through the rest of the meeting on what's a great meeting. 6:15. So that's 8:15 for my New Zealand friends and 2:15 for the West Australians. Yeah, 2:15. That's an interesting time to start watching races and going on, but that's okay. Gordon Rothick Memorial. There was 2 good stories in this one. Michelle Phillips with Rebecca Easter's horse Julia's Shadow taking out heat 1, so that was a good result. And the other heat, the Duffy boys, Quinella that one, and no offence to those guys, I thought there was another one. There was something that intrigued me about one of the other ones. Might be just the fact that the father-son combination, and they're going terrific, which is really good. So Serge Blanco, he's got the advantage there with the barrier draws, of course. That's in the Gordon Rothica. What have we got here? The Young Drivers Final. This will be the last race. Good to see plenty of good trainers. Emma Stewart, Greg Fleming, John Yeomans, Andy Gaff. Congratulations to all you guys. Congratulations, Matty Craven, both emergencies, which is a bit cruel. Ashley Herbertson, Kerry Ann Morris, Lance Justice, and Julie Douglas, all getting behind these young people and giving these guys a chance, which is terrific, and that's what we want to see. Just trying to find some of my regular offenders, I suppose, off this show here. Monomia Ryan Sanderson maintains a drive 2 in the 70 to 79 rated race. Box of chocolates is first emergency. I saw a box of chocolates in somewhere else as well. So going forward there, Stag Party, of course, ex-Kiwi horse. $30,000 national, must be just an open rated race, the way that one is there. IRT Australia. It's a 4-year-old, Idyllic. Of course, Chris Elford back with a vengeance. That little horse at the minute, so he's going terrific. But, yeah, quite a few NZs there as well. First of the main races is at 8:18. That is the Inter-Dominion for the Trotters. We touched on that race before, but I love it. I think what they've been able to assemble is terrific. Then we have the Inter-Dominion Consolation. A lot of these horses, of course, have, for whatever reason, didn't make the final. Just trying to see. Too Fast, Too Serious to Dylan Edges in green. He'll be looking for a little bit of a return to form. Better Be the Bomb. It's been going okay. Jillaby Sylvester, there's a horse that is flying. Not sure if Barrier 3 is good, bad, or indifferent for him. Better Call Me, Crime Rider, Like a Wildfire, probably a little bit disappointing. He was very short in the markets before the Inter-Dominion started. The Black Prince, Pitch Perfect was an no, it wasn't Pitch Perfect, sorry. It's the other horse who doesn't look like he made it, or Jack Trainer hasn't stayed around. Maybe Jack hasn't hung around, actually. Ultra Orlando and AG's White Sox for Belinda and Luke. I think one of those was a good run at Shep, never got out. Ultra Orlando, I think it was, that never got out. Bulletproof Boy for Scotty Ewan, who had a winner last night. Torrid Saint and 888 for Jess and Greg. Talking about barrier draw curses, they have had a shocker. He's got 3 horses in the Inter-Dominion. We'll have a look at the other one in a sec. So the Inter-Dominion final, of course, the other horse had the draw bad. Just Believe drew 12. And Triple H drawn 13. Greg is jinxed here, actually, in the finals. Because there you see Better Eclipse because he's out of the draw. Had the draw out the back there. And just going quickly through the Inter-Dominion final. I Cast No Shadows, Honolulu Bay, Act Now, Spirit of St. Louis, Beyond Delight, Expensive Ego, Bondor, and a horse that I reckon is just low flying. Nuratak, Prince, Zeus Bromac, Macnan, Pete Said So, and Better Eclipse. And of course, your emergency is in Barrier 8, Torrid Saint. And he will give it a fright from that little draw if he gets a run. So he will be very, very interesting. Hopefully for all the connections in the field, he doesn't get a run. Hopefully for connections of Torrid Saint, that he does get a run. So, yeah. But anyway, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Rightio. So this is the Sundance Gift Trotters Free-For-All. This is effectively the consolation. Not sure why they just can't call it the consolation. Every horse has competed in Inter-Dominion. Heats didn't make the final. I'm not sure why they've done this. But anyway, smarter people than I. So anyway, I don't get that. Greg Keane saying there, great to see the junior final is on race night. It generally always is, Greg, and yeah, it is terrific because that's what they are. They're the best of the best, these young drivers, that's for sure. Phoebe Onyx, Vatican Hill, Kai Valley Chief for Brett Lilly and Chris Elford. Hoping that horse returns to a little bit of form. Bob Cook and MyStar driving in a consolation at 82. Zarem, Carla Innes, Goodrich. Great little story. How consistent this horse has been. He's one-dimensional. He's done a great job. Well done to both them and Alan Tormey. Adele for Kez. Funny little mare. She's quite capable when she wants to. Robbie Royale was good the other night, but didn't make the final. A lot of muscles. One overall was a favourite for his first heat of the Inter-Dominion. He was right up in the market, and he's going around the consolation. And this actually typifies Greg Sugars' luck. Because you can say, well, he's drawn 9, but actually that's the worst barrier he could have drawn because the rest are ODM horses and he's not ODM. Why he's not ODM? Actually, there's one for the question marks. Why that horse is not ODM after the first round of heats is a dead set head scratcher because he galloped, yet he was never put ODM. And I don't know anyone that can answer that question. There was no false starts before anyone says it. It was just a lot of carnage, a lot of horses going everywhere in that first heat, and he was one of them. A few of the others got put out of the draw. He did not. Brownlow Prince, I think, unfortunately, galloped the other night, so that put pay to his chances of making the final, unfortunately. Powder Keg for Lisa Miles was much, much better the other night. Chinese Whispers is a horse with immense ability and immense issues. And then Sundown's Courage, unfortunately for Chris Engove. Most of the people I've interviewed, I have not brought bad luck onto. I don't reckon Brad Engove is going to want to see me ever again. Ever since I've interviewed him, things have just not quite gone to plan. Of course, but anyway, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Big Screen Company, they sponsored the golf day. Yes, I don't know if anyone went to the golf day. There, everyone will be excited about Radius with Ryan Sanderson. And then the Victorian Harness Racing Club have got the last race, which is a $10,000 race, 70 to 79. And there is Box of Chocolates. I knew it was going around somewhere else, so it's obviously an emergency for one of the other races. Surely on Into the Million Night, they could all be $20,000 races. Surely. Anyway, we won't go there. We'll leave that one alone as well. So, bit of a wrap of the meetings coming up and going forward. So, thank you to everyone that's joined me. Just going through, making sure I've got everything ticked off. Don't forget Big Night at Bendigo on Friday night. Plenty happening there. Plenty happening in the racing world. Thank you very much to everyone for their kind comments with New Zealand and what I've been able to do over in New Zealand. I love it. I'm going to continue to try and break down the barriers, I suppose, if you like, with New Zealand. They've got two big meetings actually on their metro meetings are on Friday night. Addington starts at 5 o'clock, which is 3 o'clock our time, but they've got a dozen races, I reckon I saw. Big card, big meeting, 11 races. The last is at 10 to 10, very civil time if you're in New Zealand over there. And also on the same night, which I don't know if that works or not, but both on Friday night. They don't have a Saturday night meeting. I think that's a deal they have with the Gallops. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but Auckland, who had a small meeting last week, have got nine races, going around this week. So much better race headed by the Caduceus Club Northern Breeders Stakes, $30,000 3-year-old fillies and mares for the mares races going on. And Darling Meat, got the right hat on for the Telfers, is going around. Stylish Memphis and Mark Jones. Sounds of Cash for the Duns. Johnny's not going there to drive it. They've got a couple in there with First Rose, Trinity Star, La Rosa, Harder Than Diamonds. So really good, interesting little race there. Bobby Butt's got 2 in it. He might have 3 in it. No, he's obviously staying down south too. So don't understand that one. But yeah, quite a big meeting going on. A couple of 2-year-olds in that towards the end of the season. So which is really good. They do have a big meeting coming up. They got Methan on the grass, I think, on the Sunday. 11 races there going through, and there'll be no doubt big fields going through. I know this is not good for you guys because no one's seeing it, but yeah, 16 horse fields, just ridiculous. The grass racing went to Akaroa, which is at I forget, Mochukorara. I'll go with. I'll probably have got it wrong. But yeah, it's a big meeting over there. They have these big meetings with grass racing. I love it. I think it's so much fun, and again, something that needs to be showcased. It was my first experience of grass track racing. Fell down the grandstand, fell down the stairs. Won't hide that fact. Took out both my knees, but that's okay. Those things happen. So a little bit of fun. Joshy Duggan, you're watching. I'm going to catch up with you, mate, for an interview. But good luck if I don't. But yep, thank you to everyone who's joined into the show. Thanks to all my sponsors for getting behind me. As always, they support me. You can see the lights going in the background. Bit of a Christmas feel. We've got to liven things up a bit, get a bit of the Christmas spirit going around there as well. But yeah, thank you to everyone that has joined in. And I will catch you next... Yeah, I will. Next Wednesday night, I was going to say, but I'll be here next Wednesday night. I've got to hit the road early Thursday, but we'll be back next Thursday night for On Loose Lines. Thank you for joining me.